Patient report in 7 steps. We will illustrate the workflow on how to perform an electrodiagnostic study in a new patient. Throughout the video, I will be clicking on different buttons on screen using the mouse. However, many of these functions can also be accessed using the keys on the console or by using the function keys on the laptop computer. When you start the system, you will see the home screen as shown currently. Step number 1. Click on New Patient button. Notice the yellow highlight in the patient demographic area. Type in the patient information. And when the minimum required information is entered, we can add additional patient demographic information. This is the information that is not going to change on multiple visits for the patient. Step 2. Begin testing. You can see the test menu on the right-hand side, but more importantly at the bottom you can see function keys related to the workflow. Visit details, test and study menu, catalog, report, save patient and end visits. These are the logical steps in the patient workflow. They can also be accessed from the console. Step 3. Input the visit details. The visit information contains information specific to this electrodiagnostic study on the patient. The visit information can be entered either by typing on the computer keyboard or by using the right-click menu. Having input the information, click on the Done button. Step 4. Perform the electrodiagnostic studies. There are 2 methods available for selecting electrodiagnostic procedures. One method is to use the so-called test folders. So for example, if I wanted to do a motor nerve conduction study, it is listed in the nerve conduction studies folder. Start the motor nerve conduction study, select the tested nerve, select the tested site, click on OK. We are now ready to perform the ulnar motor nerve conduction study. After performing the conduction study, exit the test. Now we can select another test. The second approach is the use of so-called studies. We can display the study menu, and a study consists of a predefined sets of electrodiagnostic procedures. At present, we can see the list of procedures defined for ulnar neuropathy, and we have selected the left side by default. If we wanted to study the right side, we can click on the icon at the top to change the tested side. We begin with the first test in the study menu. Notice that the conduction study, the tested side are selected automatically. Having performed the ulnar motor nerve conduction study, I can quickly advance to the next study exam using this function key. This is also accessible from the console. Now I'm going to do ulnar F wave. Having performed the ulnar F wave, I can go to the next study and so forth. So the study offers a very quick access to the desired test. Furthermore, it ensures that a predefined sequence of procedures necessary for the referral diagnosis are performed. We can get out of this screen by pushing the exit test. Step number 5. Review the recordings if necessary. This is done by clicking on the catalog button. Here is a list of all studies that we have done so far. To review a particular nerve conduction study, double-click on it. The traces are loaded in the system, and we can make any changes to the measurements display as appropriate. To review the next test, we can use the Review Next button. And then the Review Next for the next test. In the same way, we can review a previous study in the catalog. Having reviewed all the tests, exit the test. Step number 6, report generation. To look at the report, click on the report button. The report is a Microsoft Word document. At the top, it has your laboratory header. This is followed by the patient information, the visit information, and a summary of electrodiagnostic studies. This summary can be generated automatically. As example, for the motor nerve conduction study, it says that the study was performed in 2 nerves, the results were normal in right median, and in the right ulnar study, the velocity is reduced. Let's continue to review the report. Next, we have a section for conclusion. Then we have the tabulated data. Findings that are outside the normal range are highlighted in yellow color. Here is the EMG summary table, and then we also have the traces of the nerve conduction studies. If you are not sure about a particular result, we can quickly access those waveforms by double-clicking into that result. For example, the velocity value of 5 meters per second is not correct. I will double-click into the cell. Notice that the distance is 22 millimeters instead of 220 millimeters. I'm going to fix that error. Now the velocity value is normal. Having made the corrections, exit the test and go back to the report. Note that result table has been updated. We no longer see the yellow highlight, and also the patient summary is updated, stating that all conduction studies are normal. So in this way, we can go back and forth between the report and the traces to make sure that the data is recorded properly and it is interpreted properly. Input your conclusion. Having completed the report, click on the Synergy icon to return to the Synergy software. Step number 7, click on End Visit. The patient data is now saved, the report is completed, and we are ready to perform electrodiagnostic study in another patient.